What's up YouTube, Never Lucky Pulse here today with my Locals review. I played Kashtira, a going second build, a new test version, and I won the dice roll and let my opponent go first. He special summoned Unicorn, I activated Imperm, but he had follow up with the field spell, plus he had Theosis in his hand, so the Imperm was wasted, but you never know, right? Sometimes it's enough to stop Kashtira, but in this case not. He had the full combo. My hand was not bad, I had evenly matched in my starting hand. Imperm plus full combo means I can definitely play, but it will get tough if he has a lot of follow-up. I mean, if he has Birth as well in his hand and keeps it in his hand, he will have an out to my board, but other than that I'm fine. His endpot was Arisat, Shangri-La and Fenrir, set 1 and pass turn. I asked him if he wants to activate the Shangri-La effect in the standby phase. He said yes. I said thank you. Now I can use it to summon my own Kashtira-Adventure. Yeah, I went straight into the battle phase, activated evenly matched. And I was very confused because he banished everything and let only the field spell on the field. Yes, only the field spell. I was omega confused. I was thinking like, what the hell is he doing? Why is he letting the field spell on the field? Does he have a secret plan? I don't know, but we will see it later on what his secret plan was. But yeah, I was very lost at the moment, but still I had to play and continue on. I activated Pot of Desires and activated also Terraforming to get my field spell. Activated field spell, aka full combo, special summoned Unicorn. Unicorn gets me Theosis, Theosis gets me Fenrir to the field, Fenrir gives me another search. I mean, the basic bread and butter combo of Kashtira. You saw it many times, I guess. And he activated in his hand the Kashtira T element effect to special summon her. And I was like, why? Why is he doing this? Because it triggers Fenrir to banish her face down. And he was telling me he wants to activate the field spell, and I was like, no man, you can't do it. It's only triggered if Shangri-La activates its effect, and he completely forgot it. That's why he left the field spell on the field to have one interruption. But I mean, the Arisat by itself would be a better interruption compared to the field spell pop, which doesn't work obviously if you don't have Shangri-La. But yeah, it happens. It was the first round and my opponent was a bit lost, I guess. So it happens to everybody. But yeah, I was super confused in this game. But as you can see, it's a free win. I mean, my opponent lost everything. He used his last hand card to summon it to the field and getting banished by Fenrir, and I have full combo. So there's no hope left for my opponent. And yeah, the going second build was very cool for the day. I played in both tournaments, the going second build, and I was undefeated at that day. Hashtag spoiler alert. But you will see it in the later duels. It's a very cool build and it is very consistent. Game 2 he let me go first. I was counting on going second, so he caught me off guard, but luckily I had one Unicorn to play. But he was met by Ash and I had to pass turn, no follow-up. So yeah, only Unicorn on the field and one Book of Eclipse, which is kinda nice in the mirror match. I mean, if he special summons Unicorn or Fenrir, I can book it face down and he has to pass turn basically most of the times, unless he has Birth plus another Kashtira monster or two. But not in this case, he said 2 and pass turn. In my turn, I activated the Unicorn's effect to get me the Theosis to get Fenrir to the field. And he activated Book of Lunar Eclipse to flip both of my monsters face down. He discarded Birth for it. And yeah, I could flip face up my Unicorn because he was summoned in the last round and you can change the battle position of one of your monsters once per round. So I could flip him face up. Missing one draw, but I mean, it was for me personally more important to have him face up on the field, going to the battle phase, banishing another extra deck target to have the advantage in the grind game. I passed turn, he special Fenrir, I activated Book of Eclipse to immediately stop his turn. He had to pass turn basically, and in my turn I could go full combo. He had one interruption with Fenrir, but I have 2 Kashtira monsters already on the field, plus I have Birth and 4 additional hand cards. Means I will definitely break his board. I searched with Fenrir Arisat to get the full combo. I first went for the battle, because he has Fenrir on the field and he will banish my Shangri-La face down. So I wanted to get rid of his Fenrir. I went into the battle phase, activated my own Fenrir's effect to banish him face down and attacked for a lot of damage. So my opponent was very low on life. In main phase 2 I overlapped for Shangri-La and he activated the trap to summon Fenrir back, and he can activate his effect now. After I've activated the effect of Rysart, he banished my Shangri-La face down, but luckily I had Triple Tactics tasking and went for the Triple Tactics talents, took control over his Fenrir, and I had 2 level 7 monsters once again on the field, so I could go into Shangri-La once again, but he activated Nibiru on the summon, so he nuked my entire field. But I had still follow up. Yes, you sometimes have to juice with Kashtira. He summoned the token in attack position because it has only 1500 attack points and like 5k defense. So I normal summoned Fenrir with the buff and activated the Kashtira Scarecrow to summon him to the field. So I had again 2 level 7 monsters on the field, which is crazy, man. 3 attempts, and I was successfully with 3 attempts getting 2 level 7s on the field, which is very rare for a Kashtira deck. But yeah, I went for Dracossack, summoned 2 tokens and destroyed his trap card with one of my tokens. It's very important because he will get infinite resources with the trap. So I had to destroy it. And yeah, pass turn. In his turn, he couldn't do that much. I mean, he had the Fenrir in his hand and the 7 cards. 7 star, sword, whatever. You get it. You banish 1 level 7 monsters and you draw 2 cards. And yeah, he passed turn, and in my turn I could OTK him since he had nothing on the field left. Match 2 was against Flowunderies, one of the worst matchups for Kashtira because of the lack of Omni Negation. You can't stop the turn of the Flowunderies player. You can destroy and banish the cards, but you can't negate them, and they will have follow-up every time. So my opponent went first because I won the dice roll and let him go first. He opened with Duality, and map means he has full combo. And normal summoned this 3, banished the Robina with the map and had full combo. I had 1 Imperm in my hand and I was waiting for Imperm because it makes no sense to Imperm the normal summon. If he has a second normal summon, my Imperm is wasted. So I denied him the Trap Search, and yeah, in my draw phase I activated Book of Eclipse to flip Imperm face down so I can activate my special summon monsters effect. Because I also want to go into the battle phase, so I have to special summon them in attack position. The Theosis getting Fenrir to the field, searching for Rysart, and yeah, the basic combo. Basically, you saw it many times. Chaining 1, Shangri-La, chaining 2, the trap, special summoning Fenrir again. Going for Dracossack because I wanted to destroy the map to give him less advantage, because if I normal summon he can activate the map, so I had to destroy the map. Plus I can also go for the Rysart, but Rysart isn't too great. I mean, he can banish face down, but he's not negate, as I mentioned before. So it's an even trade, but it feels a bit weird to banish the Flowunderies because they are banished anyway, so you don't accomplish anything with the banish. And yeah, the only good point is that I have a better grind game compared to the Flowunderies deck. I have a lot of recovery cards, and Flowundery does not have them. If they lose the boss monsters, they are done. And I have a lot of boss monsters, so that was my hope in this matchup. But as you can see, he tried to normal summon a couple of his monsters, but my board was very full. I had 4 quote-unquote boss monsters plus 1 token. Means my opponent will have a very tough time. He needs like Riser to the field, but even Riser can bounce 2 cards and he has to deal with 2 additional cards, which is not that easy. I mean, if I have a Birth in my hand, I still can come back big times with the specials, and he can't stop me as well because he does not have any interruptions. Only the negate tribute summon, but he can't summon him because he has to summon Riser, right? So this was his only play, and the best play in my opinion. I mean, going for Empen is nonsense, going for the negate is also nonsense, so he has to attack with Riser. That's his only play, and yeah, he can choose 2 of my monsters, but I still have 2 left for the following turn, and yeah, I banished also the Riser with a Rysart, so he won't return, and I knew the game was pretty much over at this point, because real danger is Riser of the Flowunderies deck. Because Empen, okay, he's good, he can banish in the damage step to get attack boosts, but What is his out against Shangri-La in defense position? He can't destroy him by battle, because if he has materials I can detach one, so he has to bounce him, and with Riser being banished, the game was pretty much over for him. As you can see, in my following turn I had the full combo with Birth, and my opponent had pretty much nothing on the field. So yeah, lucky win for me. And yeah, like I mentioned before, it's a very tough matchup. Game 2 was very, very long. We went nearly into time. Florwanderies has a very good matchup against Kashtira, because they don't care about the banish, they don't care about the destructions, whatever. They just need to resolve the effects, and Kashtira can't negate anything. So that was pretty much a grind game from this point, but as I mentioned also before, the grind game for Kashtira is much better compared to the Florwanderies deck. Many people also said Kashtira is the new quote-unquote Florwanderies, which is bullshit, but that's the argument flying around in the Yu-Gi-Oh community. Game 2, my opponent decided to go first, obviously, and he had full combo, plus I didn't have any hand traps. No Ash, no Imperm. I had one Book of Eclipse in my starting hand, but that's it. So he was free to play with the terraforming into map, and with map into Eaglin and the Rubina. So yeah, he had full combo. He got every piece he needed. And he was also searching for the counter trap. You don't see that too often for the Florwanderies. The counter trap means he can destroy one of my special summon monsters and negate the summon. Plus I can't special summon further in this turn. So he will lock me out of special summons, which is very painful for Kashtira, but he has to control a wing beast monster. And I have Book of Eclipse, luckily, so I can flip the Empen face down and his trap will be dead on the field. Lucky for me. That's what you see at the moment. He was flipped down and I had the full combo, the planet getting the unicorn, and with unicorn I have full combo basically. I was searching for the Theosis, and Theosis gave me Fenrir. With Fenrir I got the Rysart, went to the Shangri-La, and with Rysart banished 3 of his cards and chaining 1 Shangri-La, chaining 2 the trap, because you don't want that Shangri-La will be negated by some effects. I mean, you don't care about the trap that much, but the Shangri-La effect is quite useful sometimes, especially now, because he's triggering the field spell. I mean, he will trigger it anyway, because the field spell says if you activate the effect, it doesn't have to resolve, so I can destroy 1 card on the field with the field spell. And on my 5th summon, he activated Nibiru, obviously, so I lost everything. But luckily I had the Birth to have at least some follow-up with a Rysart, but yeah, it was a bit painful for me, losing everything. I was not expecting Nibiru in the Florwanderies deck, but okay, I took the Nibiru. I really wasn't counting on Nibiru, that's why I went full YOLO, because it makes no sense for Florwanderies, but yeah, it is what it is. I lost everything and had only a Rysart on the field and passed turn. In his turn he activated Dark Ruler No More to negate my Rysart, aka my only interruption, quote-unquote interruption, if you can say it, against Florwanderies. He's pretty much useless, but yeah, it is what it is. My only play was to banish 3 cards face down, because I control a Kashtira XYZ monster, and Birth triggers because of Dark Ruler No More. So I banished Empen, which was very crucial. It was his boss monster, so he has only a Riser and the Omni Negate left. And his play was obviously a Rysart in this turn to bounce 2 of my cards. So I was thinking about my trap. I have the Kashtira trap and I have the token on the field plus a Rysart. Means he will probably bounce my Rysart and leave the token on the field. So I had to activate the trap to banish my Rysart face down. So he has to target my token, because I can't special summon if my token is on the field. He will most of the times bounce my Birth back and a Rysart, so I have to leave him the token on the field, so he has to target the token, because the token is very big as well with attack points, and yeah, he has to do it obviously. So I had an empty field, means I can play in my next round special summoning all my monsters, because I don't control any monsters. Maybe my opponent misplayed here, leaving the token would be maybe a good idea, but I'm not sure how he will destroy the token, because the token is very big and Riser is not strong enough. Plus he lost Empen, so he can't boost the attack points and the damage step. So I think it was okay to remove the token, but as you can see in my following turn I could special summon my Kashtira monsters. But he activated the trap card, so I had to activate the birth to normal summon Unicorn. Yes, normal summoning him. So the trap allows me to normal summon. And yeah, activating the effect to search. But yeah, the game was far from over. It was a very grindy game. As I mentioned in game 1, game 2 was very long. We went nearly into time. And as you can see, he summoned a lot of birds because of my normal summon. The birth was a normal summon and it triggered the map. The map allows him to normal summon additional birds to the field. So he was able to summon his Omni Negate, his last boss monster. And my only play was passing turn. I mean, I couldn't special summon this turn anymore, so I had to pass turn and hope that he can't OTK me, which is not the case because I banished Empen, so he has already everything on the field. I mean, he can't summon anything else. The Riser is on the field to Omni Negate and Empen is banished, so he has no play left besides the battle phase, and he can't OTK me because I will lose like 3,500 life points, so that's it. Means I will have one additional turn to live and I have full combo with the birth, so it will trade in with the Omni Negate of him, so he has only Riser and the little bird on the field. Means I can break his board, especially since I have Rysart in my hand plus Theosis, aka full combo. So as you can see now, I normal summoned Rysart to the field, activated the Theosis to special summon Fenrir from my deck, and with Fenrir I get one additional search. I search for the T-Element Kashtira to have additional extenders, aka level 7s on the field to go into my XYZ monsters. I went straight into Shangri-La, and with Rysart I can banish 3 cards face down, triggering Shangri-La's effect, and afterwards in another chain I can trigger the field spell to destroy 1 card on the field, and my target was obviously the map. The map is very important for him, and I locked 1 additional zone, which is not important. I mean, Florandries don't need too many zones. I overlaid for a Rysart, went in the battle phase, attacked over Riser, banished him, and in the main phase 2 I overlaid my Shangri-La for Zeus because I don't have any targets in my deck left, so Zeus is a good play with 4 materials. Yeah, I have a double board wipe, which is quite nice, but yet the Dark Ruler no more again, which was a bit annoying, and double Dark Ruler sucks, but it is what it is, you have to accept it. And the good thing was, he has no play. I mean, I banished Empen, Ariza is banished, and his Omni Negate isn't strong enough. He has 2,700 attack points, my Zeus has 3k death, with the field spell boost like 3.4k, and Ariza as well. So there wasn't much he could do. I mean, as you can see, he was thinking a long time about his play, but he realized that he can't get over my XYZ monsters, and yeah, had to scoop the game. It was very close, very interesting, but in the end I won in the grind game. Like I mentioned before, Kashtira has a better grind game compared to the Florandries deck, because if they lose their boss monsters, the game is pretty much over for them. Match 3 was against Dracoslayer. Shoutouts to Gregor, you can check out his deck profile at my YouTube channel. I won luckily the dice roll, and I knew if he has no Nibiru I will win game 1 for sure, because if you block 1 pendulum zone you basically win, because they can't pendulum summon, and yeah, without the pendulum summon the deck is very weak. I had full combo and he had no Nibiru, means I will win the game. Spoiler alert, so there was nothing in this game to tell you about. I mean, I made the full combo, passed turn, and he scooped, so it's very tough with a pendulum deck to play against Kashtira. I mean, it catches some decks by surprise if you play against rogue decks, or let's say if you play against Despia, but against Kashtira you will have a very tough time. You need to win all your dice rolls in order to win the best of 3, or draw always the Nibiru, but in this case Gregor wasn't lucky enough to draw the Nibiru against me and had to scoop game 1 instantly. Game 2 he went first, obviously not allowing me to block the zones. Normal summoned the Searcher, I ashed him. He can't be targeted by Ash, is not a target. He activated also Talents to take out my Imperm, and from this point I knew the game was over since he had full combo and my last hand trap was gone, so I couldn't stop him. If I had the Imperm still in my hand I could stop him, because the right interruption is when he links off for Beyond the Pendulum. You Imperm Beyond the Pendulum and you are basically good to go. But yeah, in this case I had no imperm in my hand now, and only 3 monsters in my hand means I will definitely lose this game, because he's wombo comboing, as you can see. I don't know every card effect of the pendulum monsters, but the most important ones I know. And yeah, most of them are some, not floodgates, but they protect your back row line and your pendulum monsters. The fusion pendulum guy, he protects your pendulums by destruction and by card effects. So the only way is banish them or shuffle them back, whatever. So it's very tough to break the board. He has not many negates, but he has some floodgates which are very strong, plus a lot of follow-up, obviously. And in my case, I only have 3 monsters. I mean, I can't do anything. I was just watching other tables, how the duels are going there and what people are playing. So I knew the game was over. I wanted to be polite and let Gregor play and make his full combo to get the satisfaction, right? But in my head I was already in game 3 and was thinking about the side deck, what to side. I also have the Spellcaster Village in my side deck, but it's not that great because he has a lot of spellcasters as well. So that's not an option for me. Against Sprite it would be a great card, but against Pendulums it's not that great, specifically against Draco Slayer. And yeah, my top deck was also very bad. Spoiler alert, I top decked another unicorn. So I had 2 unicorns in my hand, a Fenrir and the T-Element Kashtira. So against a full established board, that's very bad. I mean, 1 interruption is enough to stop me, basically. So there was no chance I was winning this game. Here's the Heretic Seal also on the field, which bounces 1 card from the field to back to the hand, and special summons 1 dragon monster from his deck to the field. So yeah, I started off with special summoning unicorn, activated the effect to get the spell cards, but as you see, the spellcaster village prevents me to activate all the spell cards, so I was basically doomed. I went for the battle, the guy can't destroy the battle, and yeah, basically scooped the game right away. Game 3 was very good. My opening was quite solid. I special summoned Unicorn, searched for Theosis. Theosis gave me Fenrir to the field, and Fenrir searches for Rysart. Plus I had Pot of Prosperity and Solomon Judgment in my hand. I activated Pot of Prosperity, and guess what? I revealed the godliest cards ever. Anti-Spell, Crosser Designator. I straight away took the anti-spell because it's an insta-win against pendulum decks. They can't set the pendulum scales. I specialed Shangri-La and specialed also a Rysart to the field, and didn't go for a Rysart since it would be the 5th summoned. I didn't want to take any risks because the anti-spell carries me alone, and I know that, so I passed turn. In the standby phase I specialed the Unicorn, and yeah, basically my opponent couldn't do that much. His only out was Fenrir, but I had the Solomon Judgment to destroy him, because he would go into the battle phase, destroy my anti-spell, and would be free to special summon or to activate his pendulum monsters. But with the anti-spell on the field, it's very tough for him. He set 1 and passed turn, as you can see. So yeah, the anti-spell won me the game, obviously. It's very tough for pendulum decks against Kashtira. I mean, the pendulum lock plus the anti-spell, which is super annoying. It's very tough to win a game if you go second against Kashtira, especially in game 3 after siding. If the opponent has anti-spell and a side deck, you will have a tough time. You need like the Twin Twister as a quick spell to destroy the anti-spell. All other cards are useless. Maybe the evenly matched would be also a great out. Match 4 was against Dinosaurs. A going second build, and he won the dice roll and let me go first. My opening was very weak, only 1 Fenrir, and he was met by Ash, set 1 past turn. Must be nice, right? But my opponent's opening wasn't the greatest either. He normal summoned his Dino, activated the search effect, it was obviously fine. And in the new chain I tried to activate Fenrir targeting his dinosaur, but he chained Misk, so he was unaffected. He tried to activate Misk's graveyard effect, but I had the Ash to stop it, and it basically ended his turn. Lucky me. And yeah, he passed turn. In my turn, I activated Fenrir again, and then he had again the second Ash, but I could at least banish his dinosaur this time face down. Activated Pot of Prosperity and grabbed the Theosis, means I have full combo. Activated Theosis to special summon Unicorn to the field, and with Unicorn I got myself the Birth. But I couldn't go full combo since I didn't have any other Kashtira monsters in my hand. So I had the Birth as a backup plan in case he breaks my board. I went for the battle phase, 2.4k damage. In main phase 2 I overlaid for Shangri-La because he gives me more card advantage, and in the standby phase I special summoned Fenrir to the field. So having the same interruption as in my previous board. He activated the search effect of his Raptor to search one monster. I, again in a new chain, activated Fenrir to banish his Dino face down, activating Shangri-La to lock one zone. He searched for Pancratops, specialed him, but I was a bit confused because he decided to destroy my Shangri-La, or at least try to destroy him. I said to him that he can't be destroyed by battle or card effects if he has materials, but he still went for the Shangri-La, okay. And yeah, I obviously detached one of the materials, and in my standby phase I special summoned Unicorn. He flipped 2 Book of Eclipse, I flipped 3 of my monsters face down, but I could flip Fenrir and Shangri-La back face up because they were summoned in the last round. Only the Unicorn is affected by Book of Eclipse. Activated the effect to search for a Rysat, and yeah, that's basically it. I mean, my opponent lost everything. He had only 2 cards left, and I have the full board, means I won't lose this game. Game 2 he let me go first. I luckily had combo in my hand, so not too many going second cards. Opened with the planet into Unicorn. Unicorn gave me the Birth. Plus I had the Theosis in hand. Obviously if your opponent searches the Birth, you know he has Theosis in his hand. Went for Shangri-La, specialed the Rysat to the field, banished 3 cards of my opponent face down, and chainlink 1 Shangri-La, chainlink 2 the trap to detach 1 material and special summon to the field. Went for the number 89, banished one of his monsters. It was the combo piece, the scrapped link monster, the link 2 scrap monster, so he can't go full combo. It was an important banish for me. And yeah, specialed the Fenrir with the Birth, overlaid for a Rysat and passed turn. In the standby phase, specialed Fenrir. And yeah, a very strong board. My opponent had only 2 zones left, and yeah, luckily he had the Kaiju, destroyed my Fenrir and the Alpha Beast. Means he can bounce his Kaiju back to his hand and the Alpha Beast, so he can tribute again. So it's basically a Lava Golem, but you are able to normal summon. So if you open the Beast plus 1 Kaiju, you have the better quote-unquote Lava Golem. He normal summoned one of his Dinos, I ashed it, and the turn was pretty much over for him. He special summoned the Beast, but he was not strong enough because of the field spell. The field spell gives me 100 attack points and defense points for every attribute on the field, and there's fire and dark and earth on the field. Means I am getting 300 attack points and 300 defense points, so the Alpha Beast can't destroy anything on the field. So he had to link off for the Cerberus, but yeah, you know, the game is pretty much over. If he has to sacrifice that many resources to do nothing in this turn, I mean, there's still Shangri-La on the field, which provides me more card advantage every standby phase, and yeah, the full combo in the following turn. So the game was pretty much lost for him. He couldn't break my board, and yeah, lucky for me. To sum up the day, 8-0, never lost a best of 3 on that day. My best record so far after 7-1 once. This one is my number 1 at the moment. Very cool deck, very strong deck. It's amazing, performed very well, and the going second build worked out pretty fine. You can see now the deck list. I'm main decking 3 golems, 3 evenly matched, 1 trust to search for tactics or change of heart, plus the basic hand traps and the 3rd Book of Eclipse in the side deck. And yeah, if you want to know every detail, I can make a deck profile. Just comment down below, guys.